Hi, I am Erin Ray, and you are on Trendy with Kim Allison.
Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. All right, you guys, today's guest is Erin Ray. She's a salon owner, she's an educator, and a very strong voice for professionalism and boundaries working behind the chair. What I love about Erin is that she brings real life experience into this industry and not afraid to stand 10 toes down on what it takes to build a sustainable career. So, Erin, so happy to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I appreciate everyone who gives me their time and my audience because I love picking the brains of stylists and having these important conversations. And for those of you who are new to the show, this is a conversational podcast. I like bringing stylists, clients, and hair enthusiasts into one conversation because I think that's part of the problem and why we get roasted so much online is just lack of understanding. And I feel like as stylists, we should do less debating and defending and more educating. I think
Mhm,
that is the part that's missing. But I
mhm,
like to have just a fun, healthy banter about it. I don't take myself too serious, so I will never be that girl. So if that's what you're looking for, it ain't going to be that, but we will stand on business and we will tell the truth here. So
mhm.
thank you for lending me your wisdom. So let's start at the beginning
Okay.
because when I did my deep dive on you, I resonate and relate because it's much like my beginning. Your journey into hair didn't follow the traditional path.
No.
So what I started, my first day cutting hair, I was 29. I was
Me too.
29.
Yeah.
So I figure, we relate there. So
Yeah.
what pushed you to pivot into beauty school at 29 years old?
Um, Essentially, I was, like, looking at my life. I got laid off, and then, like, for 2 years, I kinda, like, meandered around, just trying to figure out, like, what I really wanted to do with my life. I was still young, I was out of a bad relationship. I was just kind of, like, just making money to, like, live on the weekend kinda thing. But I started looking at myself and looking at my life and seeing my friend's life move forward, and my life, I felt like I was moving backwards. And I was like, something's got to change. The life that I have started to build is not working. I'm not happy there. It was just kind of depressing, just like going to work just to go to work and then make the money and then go out. And, I was just like going out all the time, and it just wasn't working. So I got drunk with my friends, and I
Love
decided to go
that.
to hair school. So I had always been the girl in my friend group that, had the rollers and the curling irons and always knew how to do a smoky eye. So I was always the person and be like, oh, Erin, can you just do my makeup? Oh, Erin, can you curl my hair? Oh, can you do this? And it's so funny. I look back at some of those pictures and I'm like, damn, that was not good. But it was better than they could have done themselves. But it wasn't great.
And
It's
we
not how
and
I do
we
hair
all
now.
have to and we all have
We
to
all have
start
our
somewhere.
beginnings. I was a tomboy. I can't really say like I had Barbies, but I don't have the like quintessential moment in my childhood of being like she played with dolls, she played with hair. None of that. I grew up like looking up to just like boys and tomboys, my uncles and like my aunts. Most of them I feel like were stay-at-home moms by the time that like I started kind of paying attention to their lives outside of them just being like fun. But anyway, I just decided to go to hair school kind of on a whim, and thankfully my mother supported that. And I moved back home, and she just allowed me to live under her thumb for a little longer. And just kind of the rest is history. I met my husband. I decided to go to hair school on a Sunday. And then I met my husband on Tinder on Monday morning.
Oh my gosh, look
I
at you.
know.
Look at life and for you.
You know, you yeah.
And one thing I say all the time on this show, and you
Yeah.
just gave me a perfect example. I always say we don't find hair. I think hair finds us
Mm,
somehow. I
yeah.
just do, right? And
Yep.
everybody has their story. But
Mhm.
how do you feel being that you came from corporate
Mhm.
America? How do you feel did did corporate life shape your mindset before hair, do you think? Before you probably didn't even know it was something you probably didn't even know you needed going into
Yeah,
hairdressing.
people ask me a lot of the time, like, how have I gotten to where I am? And it's because simply I have a traditional growth, uh, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like education and traditional, like get a job. I kind of fell into that. I think there is a lot of just, obviously there's no work life balance when you get a new job, no matter what industry it's in, but just like showing up every day, doing work, still getting praise, but it's just like it's different. I don't know, but I feel like
Mhm,
my business background really shaped who I am now. And only a few years ago did I figure out that I actually had some good wisdom to offer, and that's why my education has kind of gone the direction that it has.
mhm.
I think I'm like a solid technical educator, but I don't like market that as like that's what you're coming to this class for. I'm not teaching you something revolutionary. I'm teaching you just like my faster approach to get to it. I literally can do the same placement on every single client every single day. And it looks different on every single person because of section size, location, but essentially it's the same theory. It's just about toning, melting, diffusion, yada, yada. But my big anchor has been business education. And I don't think I realized how much of my kind of, I've always been like this. I've always never been, never really been afraid to offer my opinion or be honest or make a facial expression. Like when somebody says something like, oh, like, oh, that's interesting. Right. Like I've never been able to hide my face and my
That would
facial
be me.
expressions.
I relate to you the same way. People
Yeah.
always tell me that. They say,
So
"You don't have to say a word." I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Oops."
My dentist told me that when I had braces when I was like in sixth grade. He goes, you have very expressive eyes. I was like, okay.
Oh, now that's a
Isn't it such a
ritual.
funny thing that I'm just like,
You're like,
yeah.
Was that shade? Was that shade? I don't
But
know,
now
but
with a little bit
I'll
of
take it."
Botox, I can control a little bit
Love
of my
that.
wow factor.
Love that.
you know,
That's a great use of
yeah.
Botox.
It's great for consultations with clients because when they're saying something, you're just like, a little bit of help.
100%. And I know, starting later
Mhm.
in life, we did have a leg up, I would say in
For
some
sure.
ways,
Our brain
especially
is
in the
fully developed.
yeah, especially in
Period.
the realm of professionalism. And I
Mhm.
know when you are in corporate, I was in academia. I worked at a university for
Okay.
a decade before coming into hairdressing. But I know that you get to see in that world all sides of highly successful
Mhm.
people. Do you think starting later gives you more confidence or does it give you more pressure? Because for me, I felt that I already know the playbook, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm not going into this necessarily blindly. So I
Mhm.
felt like because I am so detail oriented, I
Yeah.
felt like it was almost harder for me versus just kind of going with the flow and just kind of falling into it,
So I
if that
think I
makes any
had
sense.
that though. Like I lived that, but just in a different industry.
Okay.
I lived the kind of just like show up, enjoy kind of dressing the part, but like my presence wasn't going to make or break the corporations that I worked for. I wasn't doing revolutionary work. My job mattered, but I still was very much support to the higher ups. So when I came into the hair industry, something I learned pretty quickly was that I could make or break my success. And I didn't need a salon to market for me. I didn't need a salon to fill my chair. And that's obviously a uniqueness and obviously a very sensitive subject. Some people are like, oh, everyone's leaving suites and chair rental and going back to commission. I don't personally see that as a commission, as a rental salon owner, but maybe in some areas because of maybe the types of salons there. But anyway, I'm losing the point here. But I got to be laissez-faire with my career. And then when I became a hairdresser, I went to school with a mission. I needed to get through school, period. That was step one. Then I just needed to get through my assistant years. Then I just needed to learn how to not do a terrible haircut. Then I just needed to learn how to do a good bob. Then I had to learn how to do good highlights. Something I did learn early on in my career was that um, I am greatly impacted by those around me. I self identify as being an empath. I'm incredibly intuitive, call it childhood trauma that makes me hyper aware. But I pay attention even when I can't shut that off about me, is that
Right.
I cannot shut off feeling the people around me and I absorb that energy. That's my Achilles heel, if you will. But I worked in a big corporate salon that was burning me out while I was going to hair school. That wasn't working doing those two things. So then I stopped working there and I worked at a small little boutique salon. And I learned very early on that now, fresh out of hair school, in being impressionable, even at 29, 30 years old, I was already adapting bad behaviors from the other stylists that were around me. Now I'm young and full of fire and like full of all those things. Now I should say young. I wasn't the youngest stylist in the salon. I was just the youngest. I was the greenest, if you will.
For
But
sure.
I was in the middle of the age group. So it was like who you gravitate towards was people who maybe been in this since 18. And then here I am, though, they've got 10 years in. I've got, 10 days in. And
Sure.
I'm around them, but they had maybe lost some of that passion and fire, but I didn't get along. I didn't not get along, but I didn't like fit with the 18 to 20-year-olds because what they were talking about and how they were living their lives, I had already done that. So I just started to like absorb bad habits behind the chair and kind of like lose my passion like pretty early on. So I only stayed there for 6 months and I actually went back to the big crazy corporate salon because I kind of the devil you know is better than the devil you don't kind of thing. And I went there and I harnessed what I needed out of that salon type to be successful. And then I chose to go off and do it on my own because I knew long term I could never work for somebody
No,
like that for that long, right? Like, I'm not working for the man, like, I'm working for me.
I feel you 100%, and
Yeah.
listening to what you just said, it sounds like the corporate Erin actually
Yeah.
created the hairdresser Erin,
Yes. Yeah.
So
It was
and
just
I
learning
wanted
how to blend the 2 and not be like, "Leave that behind, and this is my new identity." It's like, "No, that's what I did. This is what I do." And then I've kind of found a way to meet in the middle, and I'm not like, I don't feel any less than. At this point, nobody could care how long I've been in the industry or not, but I could be in for 2 days
No,
and they wouldn't
no,
care.
I
But
hear you, and I wanna circle back real quick to something you said about because I was wondering that myself. Are people getting burnout in salon suites and going back to, open chair salons? And you said you're
mhm.
not really feeling that. What did you mean by that?
So I guess I see a lot of it. People, the commission model is a important model, and I'm not saying as a independent stylist that I think that what I do is right for everyone, but I do think that you need to recognize that like you're either working for somebody who's providing you support and helping you grow and helping you do all those things, or you have the the guts, the balls, the motivation to do it yourself. And like, so everyone is different. So you just need to find the right culture and the right type of business model that works for you. But me personally, I never had a problem with hard work. So why take only a commission, a percentage of what I'm doing for someone else to do that? That's totally okay. But I have no problem doing the taxes, doing the marketing, doing the continuing ed, doing the pushing myself, motivating myself, yada yada yada. So therefore, why would I give a percentage of my income away, right?
100%. Yeah, I
But
completely get that.
yeah, you see that conversation. That conversation comes up all of the time. I just don't agree. That's just it.
You know what? And we have a right to not agree,
Yeah, that's just
and
it.
well, and that's one of the things, the nuances that I found lately, since I started the podcast, and I'm more present online and you
Yeah.
hear comments, concerns, all the things, other people, what they say, all of that. And some
Yep.
people think that we are such a small niche group that we should never say anything bad about each other at all
Yeah.
online against each other.
Mhm.
I personally disagree. I don't look at telling the truth as bashing. I really don't. I feel
Yeah.
like those are two different things.
Yeah.
If you're just roasting someone, you can tell when something is rooted in being malicious. And
Yes.
when someone's just like, no, I have a right to not agree. I just
Yeah.
don't agree. Is that
Listen,
okay?
if you have the balls to put your opinion out there,
Thank you.
then you should have the balls to receive someone to say,
What comes
I
with
don't
it?
agree with you. Now, the thing is that there's a right and a wrong way to go about that, right? And
That
I feel
part.
like sometimes in the beauty industry, this is where the lack of professionalism, I think, exists. Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
Our industry, we're very much say it as it is, and I fucking love it. I love it. I'm here
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
But what I
and I
don't
wanna
like, yeah,
go
is
ahead.
that if you disagree with somebody, doesn't mean that they're wrong. It's just that
Right.
you don't agree. You have different life experience, different business experience, different whatever experience it is. Whatever it is, it's different. And I think we are so quick to say, oh, no, you're wrong, versus just
Mhm.
be like, well, no, like I say, I'm like, respectfully, I just disagree. I'm not seeing the same things you are, right? It's just,
We
and
have
there's
the
a
sa
finesse
mhm.
because I've gotten some spicy comments from some fellow hairdressers before, and I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? We disagree. I'm not like telling you that the sky is purple and like trying to convince the world of that. Like, I'm not.
And that's just the culture we're in right now
Mhm.
with life, in
Yeah.
this country rather. Because when I leave this country, and that's why I travel, because it's very different and I find peace outside of
Yep.
this country
Yes.
oftentimes, especially as of late. You
Yeah.
can't disagree. You cannot. It's if
Yeah.
you don't agree with me, you're wrong. It's like,
Yes.
fine. I've just decided you think whatever you want. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
move the way I move.
Yeah, I just don't feed into it. Like, if I don't have, like, let's go back to the old saying that we're taught. If you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. If
Mhm.
I feel like my response to you is just kind of be like, sometimes, because sometimes I'll post something and I'm just like, well, you're kind of proving my point. Like sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
you're kind of proving my point that I'm trying to make here.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't say that, right? Because that's rude. Um, Now, if they were in front of me, I would say it, but I'm not going to say it through a fucking Instagram comment section. Like, that's not how, what I choose to do with my day. I'm like, I'm going to let this conversation die and you're going to move on to something else. And I could care less. Like, you're not my target audience, but I sometimes say less. And I think some people in our industry, and I think just people, society, I don't think it's just the beauty industry, just society has made people too empowered to offer their opinion and just be mean about it.
Yeah,
Am I making
yeah,
sense?
and
Yeah.
we don't curate them as thoughtfully as we do in a text
Yes.
message when we're talking to somebody that we love.
Or
We
in
make
person, there's
sure.
no facial expression, you're missing
Yeah, and
tone,
we
you're missing context. Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of my videos are snippets of an entire conversation that was maybe
sure,
5, 10 minutes long. So,
right.
yes, there is context missing on purpose. So you come to
Yes,
my class. So it's
yes.
a marketing strategy. Social media is a free tool that I use to market myself. And I am where I am today because of social media, period. Hard work and social
Yeah.
media. No one's going to come to my class if I just give it all away for free. Not that they're not going to, but the whole point is it's supposed to draw you in, get you to
What's
want to
a
follow me,
breadcrumb?
listen to me more. So yeah, you're getting the spiciest one-liner that I said in a 10-minute conversation.
Well,
Don't
that's
come
called a
at me
hook.
about that spicy comment. You didn't hear the whole conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I completely hear ya.
Yeah.
Let's jump into some industry topics
Yeah.
because, I know your wheelhouse, you come from, the education world of
Yep.
hairdressing. You have a platform teaching people how to run their businesses, how to conduct themselves professionally, et cetera. Why do you think, Erin, stylists struggle with enforcing policy? Because boundaries are a big, big, big one in business, especially our
Yeah.
business, because we're face to face with our client. So we don't really
Yeah.
have the barriers that other businesses have.
So I say this all of the time is that, boundaries start with you. You can't expect people to respect your boundaries or respect you in general if you don't respect yourself in that same capacity. You need to fully believe that your personal time is your personal time, and like you don't have to respond to clients. Um, People will make it, and there's this toxicity in our industry that is, if I don't respond to Stacy right now, Stacy's going to cancel her appointment and never come to me again. And there's this sense of urgency of like, I've had, I had like a hater comment once, like a troll would be like, when money calls, I answer. And you're like, yeah, me too, but within reason, like I'm not answering a text message at 10 o'clock about you drunk in a bar and you're like, my hair is yellow. And you're like, because you're drunk in a bar. Like, because I mean, yeah, those are the kind of fucking messages I used to get. And I would get like the darndest things. Oh, my blow dry, it just didn't last. You're like, well, it's been 4 days. It rained. It's 90 degrees out. Like, I'm no longer being like, these are the things. These are where my boundaries were established. They were off of bullshit things. Now, I've had clients send me text messages while they're in the hospital going into preterm labor because they didn't want to no show me, right? Like, I'm like, you did not have to
Yeah.
think about me at 3 a.m, but thanks. But because I built such a relationship with my clients respect me enough to be like, wait a second, I knew I had a hair appointment with Erin this week. I have contractions. Let me cancel that. I'm not charging her a cancellation fee. Like, and I think that the industry thinks the way that I talk online is that that's what I'm going to do. And that's just not the case. But because I respect myself enough to enforce certain boundaries, my clients respect me the same way I respect myself, you know?
Yeah, I
So,
like
but I
that.
think that industry wise, people are not empowered in the same way, which is why I felt like this was a topic that needed to be talked about more. And because people burn out and people leave this industry, the amount of hairdressers I know that like
Yeah.
started at 18, 19 years old, and then they're 10 years in and then they go to nursing school. I don't know
Yeah, yeah,
why it is
yeah.
that hairdressers go to nursing, but I think it's just like the still taking care of people
Or
thing.
real estate, or real estate.
Real estate, right? Because it's still very personable. It's still very flexible schedule. There's a lot of symbioticness there, of just kind of like the core of what those jobs are outside of the technical standpoint. But they're burning out because they're like, no, I like, there's no boundaries there. My salon owner's booking me every 15 minutes. I can't take a day off because so and so is, has their daughter's baptism on Sunday, so I have to work Saturday even though I haven't worked Saturdays in 3 years. And you feel this immense pressure just as an industry to work. And then what,
How do you, if you're talking to a stylist who may be watching right now, who is that person? Like, "Oh my god, I'm burnt out because I don't know how to set boundaries," or just for anyone, even if you
Yeah.
do, how do you find navigating boundaries without sounding harsh? For example, what people wanna talk about behind the chair, we didn't have to deal with that when I came into hair back in 1990, the 1900s, I say. You know, how do you set boundaries? Because I find this tough. When people wanna talk about the Epstein files, ICE, I'm like, "Oh, sweet lord, please." Like, I really,
Pivot.
honest to
um
God, I don't want
just
to.
become Ross from Friends and just say pivot, like
Oh, I
you just
love that.
pivot pivot. So I have certain clients that I will talk about certain things with, and I have certain clients that I will not talk about certain things with. But also, I've pretty much established my salon to be like no religion, no politics. Like, keep the spicy shit at home, or like have a private conversation outside of the salon. But I don't think it's right to allow someone to dictate the entire salon's vibe. Pretty much everyone who works in my salon, we all have, I would say, like-minded beliefs. So we don't have any spicy people here in that capacity. If we did, that would probably be a different thing. But that's because I've established the boundary when you join my salon is I say, pay your rent and don't be an asshole. And then I say, what you post online is a reflection of me, the salon, and every single other person who works here. So if you don't want somebody else's business to be affected by what you're talking about, whether it be in person or online or anywhere, then don't do it. You know, you are a
Yeah.
representation of all of us. So I think because I've cultivated a culture around that, we don't deal with that as much. But I do, and I have had some clients sometimes that really want to talk about it. And you're like, I agree with you. Why are you yelling at me? You know, like, why, you know, it's like those people, whether you agree with them or not, sometimes you need to pivot them off of it too. And you just have to start going into life. Hell, excuse yourself for a second. Say you got to go mix up more color. You don't like the consistency of your bleach. Take a sec, walk away for a second. And I don't care
Yeah.
if you don't feel like you have a minute to walk away. If you don't, who fucking cares? Like, it's not that deep. You shouldn't be stuck in a conversation
That you don't
because
wanna
you're
be in.
that you don't want to be in, but also you don't know how to change the subject politely or eloquently. So walk away for a second. Excuse yourself. You're fully you're not glued to the floor. Like if you're not a tree, move, right? Like you can physically move yourself. So if you can't, you don't know how to change the subject, just be like, hold on one second. I just gotta go. I have to go and get this thing. They don't know.
Yeah,
They don't know
yeah.
what they
Oh,
don't
no.
know. So you
It's
can
true.
move.
You can.
That's my advice about getting off a spice. I call them spicy topics because they're spicy. Spicy. They can
Yeah,
go one way or the other.
yeah, and me, I just kinda go, "Oh, yeah," and I'll say, "You said you were traveling next week."
Yes.
Well, that's what I
Yes.
do. I'm like, "Girl, I am not gonna sit here and talk to you about what gives me anxiety when I'm
Yeah.
reading it in the news or watching the
Yeah.
news. I wanna do it here." I
Yeah.
just don't. So
Sometimes
what
I
would
say to
you
clients, I'll be like, I was like, I totally understand, but I was like, and you almost pivot it. You'd be like, you got to be careful about how much of that you absorb. Like you have to almost
Yeah.
like,
I love that. What do clients misunderstand about professionalism in salons most, do you think?
oh, well, okay. So in my structure, right? Obviously, a commission structure is going to be different because you have someone who does that for you, right? Um,
Mhm,
the biggest thing of so you saying is like there's a lot we have to talk about now that we didn't you didn't have to talk about, right? Like when you work in a
mhm.
commission salon, you don't really have to talk about prices, you don't have to talk about
Yep,
scheduling, you don't have to talk about all that stuff. But obviously, when someone's sitting in your chair and you work for yourself, and I am, secretary, I am the staff, I am the
yep.
cleaning, I am the whatever, I'm all of it.
Bookkeeper, all of it.
Yeah, like I
Yep.
am all of the things. I will say at this point of my career, I have a bookkeeper, I have an assistant, I have,
Or
I
that,
do have
yeah.
support because I realized that I wanted to be more present behind the chair. So I no longer talk about price increases behind the chair. I don't talk about why my prices are increasing. I don't talk about anything. All I ever say is if you're sitting in my chair and we're talking about what your budget is, obviously that's a different story. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you that my prices are going up for you to look at me and say, "Well, why?" You know why? Look
Mhm.
around.
Yep.
Everything's gone up. At this point, it should not be a surprise. So I am no longer putting myself in a position for clients to have that opinion in my face. So I send it in a newsletter. And the only thing that I do, because you can see your open rate of your website and like whatever platform you use, because I use Square when I send out emails to clients, and you can see the open rate. I can go
Yeah.
through and I can see who didn't open it.
Yep.
So therefore, when Brenda sits down in my chair, I go,
Mhm.
"Oh, did you have a chance to read over my newsletter?" And I make sure that my newsletters aren't, and I don't send out a lot. We're talking 2, 3 a year. Very, very vague. I make sure that there's a few things in there. It's not like, and boom, here's the thing
Yeah.
that I know none of you want to talk about, money.
Yep.
So I don't want to fucking talk about it. So
Right.
here it is, but it's going to be in between. It's kind of like a compliment sandwich. You tell them a good thing, tell them the shitty thing, and you tell them a good thing again. Like that's how your emails need to function. But all I do is follow up and make sure that somebody has seen it. Or I say, okay, I usually give like 2 or 3 months notice about a price increase. Um, so you're here in January, and then I say, here it is, your prices are going to be going up in April, which is when your next highlight's going to be. So I just be like, and just so you're aware, my price increase goes into effect before your next appointment.
Yeah. No, I mean, short and simple.
Yeah, I kind of have created a barrier because no one should really wonder why prices are going up unless I increase everything by $100. I would obviously ask for an explanation if I was anybody, but I'm not gonna dilly dally over $5, $10 a service.
Yep, and again, with inflation and everything else,
Mhm.
whatever they're calling it, no one should be surprised to your
And
point.
I, as a luxury, haven't had to increase my prices to to like give myself a raise because I do other things. So I've been able to keep my prices and have like a slow price increase over the past couple years since I started educating, working with brands, owning a salon, little things like
Yeah.
that. My clients don't pay for me to expand my business.
Yeah.
That is me saving. That is me investing in myself. But I haven't really taken like a traditional raise in 2 years.
Well, that's amazing for your clients.
It
Yay.
is. That's
That's
why I'm like, when
great.
I do, I was like, back off. I have
Yeah,
to.
you're like, "Hey, it could be worse. It could be
I'm
worse."
like,
So, Erin, let's talk about, because we tell the truth here, as I said in the beginning. Let's
mhm.
talk about get into some spicier
Oh,
topics in our
okay.
industry. Do you think, Erin, that stylists are chasing aesthetic instead of sustainability? Oh, gosh, what's a sweet way to say this? I don't think there is, but I think we're putting lipstick on a pig a lot, and clients, they come into your salon and it's like wonk wonk. Like, wait a minute, social media looks like this, but my in salon experience looks like shit. Like,
Yep.
I mean, can I
So
say
the
that? Is
the
that rude?
number one spicy comment that I get from the internet trolls is when I talk about hair is a luxury, not a right. So when I
Mm,
say that phrase, because it is a luxury to get highlights done, everyone should be able to cut their hair, right? Or wash it, clean it. But do you need to go to a salon for me to rub your head, blow dry it? No, you can go to Supercuts or whatever, Great Clips or whatever those things and get a $15 haircut if you want to. Hell, take your own kitchen scissors, right? Like everyone has a right to get a haircut, but that to have a service done on you is a luxury. And that's something that
mhm.
that is the spiciest topic that I would say that have talked about as of late. But the comment that I get repeatedly is if it's a luxury, then I better feel like it's a luxury when I'm getting it. Now, everyone's version of luxury is different. For me, I will always present myself nice. And
Mhm.
and the thing is that like I have leggings on today, but my hair and my makeup's done and I got a cute sweater on, right? I am presentable. I don't think that if I've always thought this is that your presentation is half the battle. I've had
100%.
clients back in the day that would pick my little tiny picture off of the website based off of what I looked like, because
Mm.
I was just like a put together little person. I didn't have crazy hair. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. It was very just like cookie cutter. Um, but so I agree with those trolls. It's that, yeah, it should be a luxury service if you're paying luxury prices. Now you can go to somebody for $100 haircuts. You can go to a hair school and get $50 highlights, right? Like you can find something that's within your budget, but you can't expect me the way that I provide a service in this pretty ass salon that I built, dressed to the nines all of the time, being a fucking joy to be
Yes,
around.
yes,
Um,
delight.
taking the classes that I do, investing in myself, investing in my tools. Hell, I got fucking $1,000 scissors.
Okay.
Like right? Like I am providing an elevated service outside of even of anything else. So, yes, my prices reflect what I do.
Yeah,
Just how we started this podcast off. I was running late because what did I say? I go, I'm never going to sacrifice my client's experience or their hair color or
sure.
anything to hop on a podcast, hop on a meeting. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
yeah,
late. Why? Because Heather's hair took extra 5 minutes to lift today. And that threw me off, right? And that is what it is. But I'm never going to sacrifice the end result because of anything else. And I think sometimes, so go back to chasing aesthetic. When I teach my classes, I start off and I say this is incredibly relatable education that you can immediately implement behind the chair. And I think that there are some classes that are incredibly elevated and these people do phenomenal work,
mhm,
phenomenal capturing the photo, phenomenal, but that's not what my class is. Not that I'm not going
mhm.
to teach you something that's going to help you behind the chair, but I feel like mine's a little bit more straight to work. Go straight to work and you can do
Well,
this.
and I think, education like that is more sustainable.
Yeah.
Back to the question at hand, right? Because you have one way we can make it look as pretty as we want. However, is this lifelong or is this just fly by night for now?
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Do
think
you
we
think
chase
Go ahead.
these pretty young models to do hair on, but like, not that my clients aren't pretty and young and everything. It's just, there's frizz.
You know what?
Their
I
hair's
always
thin
say
because they just had a baby. Their
all of
hair
it.
got broken off from their last highlight. You know what I mean? Like, that's more realistic for me to teach because that's actually what I deal with behind the chair. I have never, and that might be because I entered into the industry at an older age, is because I looked at my clients. Like when I take on a client, I think about being with them for the next 5 to 10 years,
Yeah,
not just for, the next 5 months and have them come back one time. So
exactly,
my
exactly.
client is just different.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I say the same thing. I mean, I've had athletes, celebrities, all of it, but it's my 9 to 5ers that keep my business in
Mhm.
business at
Bread
the
and
end of the
butter.
day. Yeah, so with
Yeah.
social media, because we have this beautiful platform now with free education, free marketing, as you said, do
Mhm.
you think that it's hurt or helped our profession, social media? In
Yeah.
terms of professionalism, that is.
Yeah. And I think you have to decide who you want to be online. And I
Mhm.
think people chase followers, they chase likes, they chase getting shared over how does that actually affect your business at home.
Yep.
I go to all of these hair events and I go to, shows and this, that, and the other thing. And I've had to really learn that like that is a moment, a very high pressure, 2, 3 day moment. But I come back and I'm home. These are my clients.
Mhm.
These are my friends in real life. This is my salon. This is my salon team. This is my business. This is what matters.
Mhm.
All of social media can be gone tomorrow. So make sure that you represent yourself well. And I can say this online is that it took me honestly only until the last like 3 years to actually be myself online, like 100%. I learned how to be me. And that took kind of falling flat on my face in my own life to
Yeah.
then be like, this isn't fucking worth it. This isn't fun. This makes me sad. I'm out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and every once in a while I get stuck in a little imposter syndrome kind of place with social media and I just have to be like, "Hold on." I go, "Who fucking cares?"
Yeah.
It does not matter how many
Yeah, I
likes I
know.
get or what brand wants to work with me or whatever. You are Erin fucking Ray and you're going to do whatever the fuck you want just like you always have your entire life, right? Like, right? It's like, yes, remember who the fuck you are is at the core of social media. And also, I think sometimes, I'm not going to say this with all times, I think sometimes we forget that you make sometimes I'm very against making fun of clients online. Now there is talking about communicating with clients and talking about your business and your boundaries and stuff that like I do, but I have to do that very delicately because I never want any of my clients to feel like I'm talking about them when I am
Yeah.
talking about a certain situation. I most of the names that I use are clients that I've broken up with, like the names. They just obviously come to my name. I've been scarred by a woman named Stacy. And that's just it. So Stacy comes out all of the time. It is what it is, right? But like I'm not like talking about very specific stories with Stacy. I'm just being like Stacy, chill. Like I don't need to talk to you right now. Like because that is just a trigger name. But anyway, but I think sometimes people make like the funny videos and the things like that that get you the views, get you the shares, get you the stylist interaction, and you're actually making fun of your clients at home. I never want any of my clients to think that I am taking their time that they paid for with me and now I'm exploiting it on the internet for views.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense, and you
Yeah.
answered because that's where the professionalism comes
Hmm.
from, or that's where it
Don't
comes into
forget.
play. It
Yeah.
comes into play. Yeah, you're getting likes and you
Hmm.
might be getting paid from TikTok making
Yeah.
fun of clients, but
Yeah.
they also, feed you. They also, run and sustain your business, so the
I want
professionalism
them
goes
to
out the
come
window.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the thing
exactly.
is that it's too easy just for clients to leave.
Yeah,
So it is. It's just too easy for all of a sudden them to cancel online without ever having to fucking talk to you anymore and just be gone and you never know what happened to them, you know?
exactly.
And that is one of the hardest things, but you don't want to. be able to kind of figure it out for yourself. You don't want to be in the situation that something you did online for some clout lost you actual business, because the clout goes away. It's
Not
not
worth
going to
it.
work, because how many people actually get the big brand deals that actually make you a lot of money? Top maybe 5% of hairdressers, right?
Right. Yeah.
Make that money. And
Yep.
then there's the rest of us that it's like it's contracted. It's a year. It's a 90-day thing, or it's a post by post basis, or it's can all be gone overnight.
Well, and two, not forgetting that the same internet that built you up can cancel you in a
Woo!
matter of seconds,
Yes.
so don't get it twisted, and I'll
Yeah.
say, let's move on to the next topic real
Yeah.
quick. What's something trending online, speaking of all the social media and the clout chasing and all the likes and
Yeah.
followers and all the stuff, what do you think is trending online right now that doesn't work in real life behind the chair?
I think recording every single consultation.
Oh, girl, thank you for saying that, because I
I'm
was
over
like,
it.
I don't
There
wanna
are some
always
that are
be
really
the bad
fun,
guy,
and some
but my
people are really
god.
good at putting them together, but I think there's just too many. And I think we've lost our individualism.
Yeah, and it got old real quick, didn't it?
Well, because everyone started doing it, right? And I think it works for some people in some circumstances, but not every
Yeah.
single consultation is revolutionary or entertaining. And then, you know, you start to see people kind of like saying spicy stuff just to get it to kind of blow up, you know. And so it's all
Yep.
editing and finesse. Like I've done them, I have full well done them. And they never landed for me. So, but for me personally, I think when I started doing them, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so over these." Like, I hated doing them.
Yeah, before you even
I was just
start.
like, "Ugh." And, like, brands would ask you to do them for, like, monthly content for that month, and you're like, "Why?"
Yeah, you're like, "No."
Ugh. I was like, "How it's
Alrighty.
so over." But I
Yes,
will say
exactly.
on that same topic, I wanna say this one thing, is that I don't even know what's really trending as much anymore, because I have stopped scrolling as much as I used
Mm.
to, because for me, I stopped comparing myself to other stylists when and creating my own insecurities when I stopped scrolling. I
Hmm,
stopped scrolling for that, so I go to, like, the search bar, and if I see you there, cool. But,
okay, good
yeah.
tip. I
And
like that.
stories. I like stories. Stories are where I live.
That's healthy. You know what still surprises me? How many stylists tell me they've never heard of Virtue Lab products. Found Virtue back in 2017 at a hair show, and I've been hooked ever since. I use it on myself, like this beautiful flourish right here. It's their hair thinning line. There's a full system. There's a shampoo, there's a conditioner, there's the density booster, one that's drug free, and the other one that has minoxidil in it, which is amazing, you guys. If you haven't tried these products, please do. And it's one of the lines I actually stand behind as a professional. Here's why it's different. Virtue is the only hair care line in the world that uses human derived keratin called alpha keratin 60 KU. Because it's human derived, your body recognizes it as its own and actually accepts it. We all want products that truly heal and repair hair, right? Not just make it shiny for a day. Virtue does that. It literally fills in the cracks in the damaged areas, strand by strand. So, you guys, trust me. You'll see results after one use, but after 5 washes, honey bunny, the hair will feel like a completely different head of hair. Soft, strong, and actually healthy. So if you're ready to stop masking damage and start repairing it, I know you're ready. Shop Virtue through my link today in the description. Support the show, support your hair. You'll thank me later. Bye. All right, we've been responsible long enough. Let's have some fun
Okay.
because every stylist has an inside voice. All righty, so I'm gonna have some fun with you because you have such a big personality, and I love big personalities. This game, you're new here, so I self-proclaim I am the queen of games. Okay,
Okay.
no one gets out of here without one of my games.
All right.
This one I'm calling, say it with your chest. Alrighty. What
Okay.
what stylists wish they could say out loud? All right. So here,
Okay.
here are the, and it's supposed to be fun
Oh,
shades. Speaking of, don't
okay.
attack our clients online. We're not doing that. It's fun
Okay.
shade. Y'all know who you are.
Okay.
Okay. Stacy or whoever you are. So we're gonna have fun
Hopefully
with it.
Stacy has moved
I'm
on
gonna
with her
be
life.
all
Okay.
right. So here are the rules, Erin. I have 3 clients for you today. And I want you, it's going to be how would you handle these clients in your chair? I'm going to give you the scenario first,
Okay.
then I'm going to give you the caveat after. First, I want you to say what you're really thinking. You don't
Okay.
have to say it if you're like me because your face might say it. But I want you to actually say it
Okay.
because we have people that listen only on audio.
Mhm.
I want you to say what you're really thinking inside, and then I want you to be the professional you are.
Okay.
How you'd convert that insight thought into a response to your actual client. All
Okay.
right? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I am the client 1. And I'm the one that's always like, I'm feeling myself when I look in the mirror. I do, but I don't, I'm indecisive at the same time. So, Erin, I want something different. I want more movement. I want more movement in my hair. I don't know. I'm feeling really flat, like on top, and like really heavy at the bottom. But I don't like razors or texturizing shears because, I've had those in my hair before, and they totally hacked my hair. Like,
Okay.
what can you do with my hair? And and one last thing, I only want a trim. I don't want like a real, like actual haircut.
Okay. Am I giving my
What do,
like real
what are
answer
you
or my
saying? What are
business
you
answer?
saying? What are you saying inside?
If this bitch
What?
took 5 minutes to style her hair, it would be fine. Um, but the professional Erin would say,
Okay.
I would sit down because I have little stools and I'll come sit down and look at them face to face instead of looking at them through the mirror. Especially with somebody who you said are feeling themselves, you got to get their eyes to you and get them off of their own face. So face to face, I would just be like, so here's the deal. All these photos you see of these pictures of these haircuts or styles, 90% of that is actually styling. So, how much time are you spending on your hair? Oh, no, I just like wash and go. I air dry it. I sleep on it, right? Like that's very typical. You're like, well, then it doesn't matter what I do to your hair. It's not going to give you what you're asking me to do. So I am actually only doing 20% and you're doing the other 80. So if you're not doing anything on your 80, my 20% is just not enough.
Yes. I
And so
love
that's when
that.
I have that hard truth. And then usually they're like, oh, well, okay. And then I usually teach them like a little 5 minute blow dry hack for just the mohawk. And if you take 5 minutes right here, blow dry the rest of this under, and take 5 minutes right here, your whole look will be changed. Right?
But you can't like layer my hair and everything within a trim length.
No. So the thing is that I
Straight
know
up.
that this
Straight up.
game, you want me to be like super professional, but like I'm so honest with my clients and I will look at them and be like, well, that's not going to happen. Like I say that to my
That's
clients.
I
My
don't I
clients
don't
love me for
consider
my
that
honesty.
not professional. I don't
Yeah, I'm
consider
just like,
that
well,
not
no, because I'm like,
professional.
I'm
That's
not going to do
realistic.
it if it's not going to actually do anything for you. I'm like, we can do that, but it's not going to give you the result that you want.
And there we are. Okay,
Right?
so now you've got another client coming in.
Okay.
Um, Susie. Okay,
Susie.
whatever. All right. And she's literally annoying. All right. So, Erin, do you think you could squeeze me in tomorrow? Here's the caveat. That text came in at midnight.
Oh, so she would hear from me at
What are
9
you what are you
a.m.
thinking in your head?
Thank God my phone is on silent because if this woke me up, I would have fired you. Um,
And what do you say in the text?
I wouldn't respond until 9 a.m. when I actually started work. And I would just be like, hi, just seeing this. Unfortunately, I don't have any availability today, or maybe I do.
Okay. All
Depends on
right.
what they're looking for, right? I will
It
respond to them, but I will not respond to them like when I wake up at 7 in the morning while I'm getting myself and my kids ready for school. Because 9 times out of 10, that person panic texts you in the middle of the night because they were scrolling or something. But I don't, so that's where my business hours thing is where I flex that as I go and I don't respond until I actually am at work at 9 a.m.
Okay, that's a healthy boundary. Last client,
Yeah.
she comes in, she's like, "Oh god," she's 20 minutes late. "Erin, oh my god, I'm so sorry. The freeway, I didn't realize there was so much construction. Oh my god. Thank God I'm here though. How are you today?" That's the client. That's the scenario. Here's a caveat. I want the full service still though.
Oh, well,
What are you thinking in your
what are they
head?
what are they book what are they booked for though? Like, are they booked for a
Oh, they
highlight?
want,
I need a
they're
little
20
context.
minutes late for the booked service. So say they booked a full highlight and
Full
a
highlight.
haircut, but they're 20 minutes late. "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. It was the traffic. It was this, it was that." Woo.
Yeah, no, I would just be like, in my head, I'd be like, "Kick rocks." The ball's on you, still has a coffee in her hand kinda thing, right?
Right.
"I am so late.
Right.
At least bring me one." I would simply just say, "I'm gonna do the best that I can, but ultimately you have to kinda choose what you wanna sacrifice today. Do you wanna sacrifice getting a full highlight, or do you wanna sacrifice your blow dry?"
Hmm,
And my clients, like, breathe for they love my blow dries, so she would be like, "Do whatever you can."
okay. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's nice and professional and good.
yeah,
All right, Erin, that was fun. Thank you so
yeah,
much for, being honest, open, and honest, and I have ended my episodes with real questions from real people. So, let's ask a real question, and so far, it's people who DM me and from my clients.
yeah.
This question is from Rachel. She says, "What do you Oh, whoa. What do you do when a client informs you at the end of the service that she or he cannot pay? What would you do?" I would die. I would literally die. Like, what do you mean?
Uh, I mean, I require a card on file, so I would chart that shit as fast as I could. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That
Uh,
would be tough because we don't have
that's a tough
tech.
one. That's a real life question. I don't
Yeah, I was like,
know.
"Ooh."
Um, yeah, so I require a card on file, and it won't let you put like a card on file that like is expired or invalid. Like it doesn't just like let you type in anything. It has to like be valid. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, that's a like call the cops kind of moment, right?
I
Because
I would think that would be called theft at that
it
point, right?
is, right? Like it 100%
So
is.
what would I do in that scenario?
Yeah,
I
what would you
think
do?
I would 1, panic. I would 2, say, "Are you joking? Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
you
this is
let
a
me
joke.
perform this
It's
whole
not. What's the
service?
date? Is it April 1st?
Okay, you let me perform this whole service knowing the whole time that you couldn't pay? Like, why? I give you 5,000 ways to pay. Zelle, credit card, cash,
Phone a
what have
friend?
you, all of it? Can you call
Yeah.
somebody? That would be wild in
Uh
2026 for sure. That I would
yeah,
just say
yeah, yeah.
that probably wouldn't
Yeah,
happen.
I hope that I never get put in that situation, but I don't know. I don't know. I've never been
Okay,
in that situation.
last question. All right. This one comes from Jan. Jan says, "What do regular clients do most that make it more challenging for you to care for their hair?"
Care for their hair or like provide a service or just like care for it long term?
Care for their hair. Like, say, what do they do most? Like, when they come back for their appointment, you're like, "Oh, girl, I'm trying to keep your hair
Oh,
healthy, but what"
hot tools. It
hot
seems like,
tools. I
oh, well, are
agree.
you using the oil I sent you home with? No.
Yeah.
I was trying to use it just like when my hair was wet, but I wash my hair once every 8 days.
Yes. Isn't it something?
You want your hair to be blonde, but you want to go 8 months in between your highlights. That's just not realistic.
All of
Yeah,
it.
I would say the hardest thing is at home maintenance.
Yeah,
Basic,
I
not
agree.
treating your hair well. Like I said, and this is when I have that same conversation. I do 20%. You do 80. So if you're dropping the ball on your 80, you're not even doing 40, then I don't really know what you expect my 20 to do.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
I
not
like that.
enough.
I'm gonna steal that one too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because it's 80/20. Think about it. I
I know
do a
it's
little bit and I
80/20
send
in
you home. You look
relationships as
perfect.
well.
But if you go
Yeah.
home And I used to have a client who lied to me about using a flat iron, and every single time she'd come in because she'd be like, "My hair is canary yellow." Like literally it would be this yellow. And I would go through, and at first I used to think, because I she was a new client, I took her on and it was like it was yellow from maybe the other stylist. I fixed all of that. Turns out this bitch was just using like 500 degrees and just like raw dog and you're like,
Yeah,
I broke up with
and
her long term because I was like, I can't.
well, it doesn't benefit either one of
Yeah.
us for you to
Like this
lie
isn't
because
fun
we
for
already
me.
know the truth. We already know the truth, so it's
Can't lie to me.
fine.
Yeah.
Cannot,
Nope.
cannot.
Yep. Cannot.
Alrighty, Erin, thank you so much. That was fun. Lots
Thank
of fun.
you.
And I hope I can come up with have you on later on down the road somewhere. We can
Yeah.
come up with some more fun topics to talk about.
Absolutely.
Where can people find you and your amazingness and your platform
Amazing.
and all the things?
So I'm pretty much the same name across all platforms. Erin Ray Hair on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, my website, erinrayhair.com. That's where you can find all of my classes, and I have started coaching and one-on-one help and yada yada and all that jazz. So Erin Ray Hair on all things.
All right, perfect. And for
Yeah.
those listening and watching, thank you so much. You can always subscribe to the YouTube channel, Trendy_Kim Allison, all the socials, Trendy
Yeah.
W Kim Allison, Instagram, Facebook. We have a private Facebook group as well. All of it, www.kimallison.net for the website. All right, thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.